My son's dad just moved in with his new girlfriend, but she really doesn't like his kids.
Ooh, that seems like a deal breaker.
My 32 5-year-old son's dad, Jacob, 34, moved in with his girlfriend, Anna, 35, over a year ago, and I found out that she does not like children. I don't really know this woman. She refuses to acknowledge me in any capacity. I'm not allowed in their home, and she does everything she can to avoid me. I have let this slide because there was some overlap between her and I. By the way, this comes from Deleted on the r/2HotTakes subreddit, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit and send it in. So Jacob and I have been toying with the idea of getting back together when they met. After they made it official, him and I failed to enforce boundaries. While we never slept together, we definitely had one night where things got too close. He told her about it. She was upset, but they decided to stay together and work on it. She moved in with him about 5 months later. I'm probably a bit naive, but I didn't really realize that she was harboring negative feelings towards me at first. When my son would speak positively about her, I would text her to tell her the good things that he was saying. I would thank her for being so sweet to him. In retrospect, I'm not really sure that she responded to those messages. I started getting the vibe that she was really unhappy when I would FaceTime my son. Either she would leave the room or Jacob would take my son into another room and close the door. I started noticing that she seemed to be avoiding me in situations where we would normally cross paths. I asked Jacob about this, and he kind of played it off. He said that she doesn't really want to talk to me, but it's not a huge deal. I tried to respect her space, but understanding that it must be difficult. Then one night, my son told me that he felt nervous when I called because Anna doesn't like me and she says mean things about me. Since then, I've been trying to get some forward momentum on actually working on the problem that she has with me. I tried texting her a long apology. If I'm honest, I probably focused too much on trying to get her to understand where I was mentally when we betrayed her trust. Although I personally don't really know her, I can understand how a text message focusing on excusing my behavior would be received poorly. She was pretty livid about it. I continued trying to give them space, even though I do find it very frustrating. I've been trying to separate my personal hurt from what actually affects my son. I know that he struggles with it, but I also see where she puts in the effort. I try to focus on the good things because so much feels like it's out of my control. Anyways, one day she asked to have my son on a day that he would normally be at his grandma's. His sister was coming to town and she wanted my son to meet her nieces and nephews. This made me feel really emotional because it made me feel like she loves and appreciates him as an individual and not just as a byproduct of his father. I reached out 2 weeks later to thank her and to tell her how much it means to me. She responded a couple of days after saying that we should all get together and talk. Felt really grateful and hopeful. Today was the day and we all might get together to talk. She came in pretty hot, having issues with things that I never would have anticipated. One of which seemed to be that she feels like I am pressuring her to have a relationship with my son. She made it very clear that she was there for Jacob and no one else. She kept saying that we can't force her to have a relationship with my son because it's pushing them farther apart. She said that she's trying to learn to love him because she loves Jacob. She keeps dismissing my son's feelings by saying that she has high standards and he's not used to rules. When we were leaving at the end, she asked me if I had anything I needed to say. I kind of said it like a joke, but I said, I'm just wondering how you don't love my son because he's just so lovable. So her response to that was that she doesn't like people and that kids are just people who have no consideration for anyone else. I'm not really good at processing things in real time, so as the night continued, I feel more and more sad. I hate the idea that the other half of my son's life is being spent with someone who sees him as a chore. I know that he can sense it. He's used to being daddy's boy, but over the last few months, he is sad when he has to go to his dad's house. He says it's just because he loves me more and feels closer to me. I feel like I am now realizing that it's because he doesn't feel wanted over there. So Jacob and I, the father, talked on the phone after Anna went to sleep and I expressed my concerns. I asked him how it doesn't hurt him that our son is so desperately seeking the approval of somebody who does not like him. He says it does make him sad, but they are trying to work on it. I just don't really think that this is something you can work on in a relationship. No matter how badly she wants to be who Jacob needs her to be, if she doesn't like children, that's not something that just goes away. And as he gets older, he's going to continue to push boundaries, and I'm just not sure she has the temperament for it. It's also not really my place, but I just feel so worried and sad. What do I do? Is there anything I can do? Sorry for the long post. I felt the backstory was important, and we have an edit coming up. I really don't know how to use Reddit, so I'm sorry if I'm doing this wrong. I wasn't really expecting to get eaten alive in the comments. Lol. Here are some clarifications. I'm not incessantly texting her. In the beginning, I thought sharing the positive things my son shared would be affirming, but I noticed that she didn't seem so keen on it, so I stopped. I didn't text her again until my son said that she was talking badly about me. I had been noticing some bad tension for a while and had been bringing it up to Jacob. I said that our son was eventually going to notice and it would impact him. He kept telling me they were working on it. I called his dad and, of course, found out that he hadn't talked to her about it at all.
The dad hasn't done anything.
He literally hasn't gone, to his...
Man is a noodle spine.
I told him
people
that he needed to talk to her and come to me with a plan by the next week, or I would be reducing time. He told me that she didn't receive this well and was unwilling to work on changing anything because she says she never speaks negatively about me around him. I told him he needed to talk to her and come to me with a plan by next week, or I would be reducing time, reducing the custody. He told me that she didn't receive this well and was unwilling to work on changing anything because she says she never speaks negatively about me around him. I obviously don't believe my son is lying. This was when I decided to reach out directly and apologize to her again. First time was immediately after it happened. She didn't receive it well, and in retrospect, I can recognize that trying to get her to understand my POV was unlikely to be productive. I've been trying to make sure I am only reacting to things that affect my son and not to things that may personally offend me. I want to be fair and reasonable. I was hoping we could work on it together to make the environment less tense for my son. My son hasn't mentioned it again, so I was hoping that it got better. His dad's only solution was to have her hand my son the phone when I called. My son doesn't really say bad things about her often. He mostly speaks positively, which is why I haven't been pushing harder for a change or to reduce time. She's been spending a lot more time doing activities with him, so I've been feeling so grateful that she's taking the time to make him a priority. I keep seeing people say that she's not his stepmom, but they live together. She is making house rules for him to abide by. I want to be supportive of them building a bond. I have felt like I don't want her to be discouraged by the concerns that came up. So I texted her last week to tell her I could see that she's really trying and I appreciate it. She responded that we should meet and chat, and I kind of thought that I cracked the code. Lol. I was not anticipating her negative energy, to be honest. Now, while my son doesn't really say bad things about her, I do feel like I have been seeing changes in his behavior. Not wanting to go to his dad's house is new. Favoring me so blatantly is new. Him exhibiting a lot of anxiety at night. He doesn't want me to leave him alone. He says he feels alone and at night it's scary. I finally got us in with a play therapist. We had one session and I have been hoping that this will uncover if there's underlying issues I'm unaware of, and if not, just give him the tools that he needs to cope. I just found out last night that she doesn't like kids. I fear that she had a cold and strict temperament, but also didn't really think that I would be the best judge of her character considering the circumstances. Seeing how she really feels about my son is crystallizing a lot of my son's behavior change. I was hoping the effort I was seeing was coming from a genuine place of wanting what is best for the child in the situation. She made it very clear, however, that it is only about Jacob. I told her that the relationship doesn't exist in a vacuum. She got upset and her and Jacob started arguing. I honestly started having trouble tracking the conversation at that point, and it went off the rails for a bit. In general, I struggle to trust my perspective on things. I want to be sure I'm not overreacting or being unfair. Anyways, I need to get my son ready for the day. I will check back in later. We have an update. So this subreddit is brutal. I have never written on Reddit before, but I love the podcast, so I thought I would try. The advice I get from people in my life is, of course, biased. Things with my kid's dad changed shortly after he was brought home from the NICU. I found out a lot of things that made me realize he isn't who I thought. At the time, I vowed to myself that I would never let my feelings about things he has done to me dictate the decisions I made for my child. I would say bad partner, good dad. I guess I'm not doing a very good job at that because maybe I'm overcompensating by being too forgiving. But anyways, I'm trying. I don't want the decisions I make for my son to be clouded by my personal hurt and rage. At the end of all of this, the point really got lost, and I found that I am primarily just trying to stand up for myself. I don't believe I am beyond reproach, but I also don't think a lot of the responses here were fair. In regards to the overlap everyone was referencing, I didn't give details because I didn't think that they were relevant. I thought the context was important in understanding my perspective may not be accurate because I do not know her at all for what I have felt is a valid reason. I don't know how to take the weight of words of a 5-year-old and a man known to be a habitual liar because I literally know nothing about her. Before this weekend, I had never even seen her in person. We had only talked on the phone once, and it was her asking me what happened. The cheating she knows is that it was a back rub and he got too handsy. When she met him, I'm pretty sure he told her that I was sapphic. When she called me, she did say say if I was so starved for touch, I should find a girlfriend. Haha. The truth is that Jacob was going on for months saying he wanted to try our relationship again. He was telling me he wanted to have another child together. We had started regularly doing family time, which made my son so happy. I knew he was also casually dating, but we weren't actually together or anything, so I wasn't concerned. After a while, I started considering trying again for the sake of my son. The family time was fun, and I enjoyed seeing my son so happy. I told Jake that we could try, but we'd have to go to therapy. In that conversation, he told me he met somebody that he could see a future with. I should have completely cut him off at that moment, but I did not. Yeah, I think OP's letting him get away with it. We continued doing family time, and he continued to come over during the day when I was coming home just to hang out. He would try to be affectionate and hold my hand or play with my hair, and I would tell him to stop. He would then talk about feeling confused and tell me he loves me right after he found someone he sees a future with. He came over to my birthday because my son was so sick. He brought over dinner, edibles, and booze. Oh my God. Whoa. I don't drink, but I did have an edible after my son went to sleep. He was saying I shouldn't be so stressed out on my birthday. He offered me a back rub, which we did regularly before he told me about the girl he saw a future with. At first I said no, but eventually I convinced myself that it wasn't that big of a deal. He got really weird and aggressive. He then tried getting on top of me, and I told him to stop before he finally got off. I was livid and could not stop crying. Then he started crying again and again and started talking about being so confused because he loves me. I made him leave, but the next day he came back early in the morning to bring me breakfast in bed. I made him leave again and refused to speak to him. I just did not know what to say. Called me a few days later from outside her parents' house crying and telling me that he was in love with her. He said that she can never know what we did together. I effing hate this man. I told him that if he really loved her, he wouldn't start this relationship on a lie. A few days after that, she calls me. I felt cornered. I didn't know what to say, and I agreed with his aforementioned lie. I know that through her point of view, I am the affair partner, but it just didn't feel like that. The comment section, though, has made it pretty clear that my perspective on my own innocence isn't accurate. I felt like if she could forgive him, then I don't understand why she can't forgive me. In terms of the custody, we do have a parenting plan. We share 60-40. I have 60%. In terms of the phone call, I didn't strategically wait until she was sleeping to voice my concerns. He called to debrief, and I said that the way she spoke about my son worried me. This man is an effing weirdo and started talking about how it worries him too, and that I should call and ask his best friend because he would tell me that he has noticed it too. I'm obviously not going to do that. It's weird and irrelevant to me. He keeps saying he's not stupid and he sees the same potential issues, but they are working on it, and that if he doesn't see any improvement, he would end it. He's never ended a single relationship. He just cheats. In terms of the texts, people keep saying I'm stalking her. I am not. There have been 5 total texts over a year. The first apology was right after she called me. I said I was sorry and that nothing like that would ever happen again because we were no longer going to socialize outside of phone calls about her son. And again, OP is so totally 10 million % within her right to be like, he did this to me. I'm a victim in this situation.
I mean, we should. How much does she know that is the case? Like, has she been educated on this?
I think she doesn't know. So OP agreed to do the lie that Jacob wanted. All. Yeah, so she doesn't know. 2, because my son had said nice things, and I thought it would just be nice to know he was saying nice stuff. Then I started noticing tension, so I stopped until I found out that she was talking badly about me in front of my son. I don't know how she felt so strongly about me because I hadn't had communication with Jacob about anything outside of our son since I promised her that I was backing off a year prior. I was never under the impression that she was purposefully trying to alienate me from my son. I just thought her anger was so loud, we couldn't hide it from her.
Oh, you're getting me.
I know. Boy. I'm infected.
Yeah. Jeez.
I was hoping that apologizing again and opening the door for conversation would fix the issue. The last one was last week. I felt like I was seeing a lot of positive effort because the way my son was talking about her had changed. I just wanted to thank her for being so kind to him, and I also wanted to apologize that my last text upset her so much. Jake told me it made her mad. She didn't respond. This time, she texted me back and said that we should meet up. So on the meeting, she was angry about things that I didn't anticipate. She said I lied about what's happening when she called me. That is true. I don't know what part she thinks is a lie, but I was definitely dishonest. She thinks it's inappropriate that I have a relationship with Jake's mom. It has been rocky, but even periods where Jacob and I don't talk, her and I have always maintained a relationship. She was angry that I told my son his dad has a tattoo on his butt because I shouldn't be talking about her boyfriend's butt. If you guys think that's also weird, my son has been looking at my tattoos and asked if his dad has any. She felt like the positive texts were an attempt to pressure her and that my apologies are just me dumping on her emotionally. That was never my intention, but I told her that I understood that now and that I know what her boundaries are. I can adjust my behavior. She received it really well. The meeting ended in smiles from her, and she thanked me and told me that if I really have something important to say, call her. However, throughout the conversation, all these little comments she made about my son, their time together, and her high expectations bothered me. Again, I am not good at confrontation, so I said that I don't understand how she didn't already love my son in a jokey type voice. That was when she said she is trying to learn to like him, but she doesn't like people, and children are people with no consideration. I felt fake as F that conversation objectively went well, but I am now more concerned than I was. I thought we had a small hurdle of her not liking me. I was never thinking I was going to get her like me, but I thought that if I could ease her rage, the environment wouldn't feel so stressful for my son. It now feels bigger than I first anticipated because it's not just about me. She is fighting more than just hatred for me. People feel like I am only focusing on her. That is because we have already gone to court. The only thing that would change my POV on the current arrangement is that if she isn't safe for him. By the way, what's always a safe space is our show. You can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, your favorite pod app, and search OK Storytime. People are saying I should take him from his dad's care immediately, but we do have a legal agreement and there are no obvious signs of it. His behavior has changed. I am noticing that he's anxious and doesn't want to leave my house to go to his dad's. I don't want to do something rash and withhold him without any due cause. Anyways, I have to be done here. My feelings are thoroughly hurt. I will never look for advice on the internet again. Lol. Your girl should probably just find a therapist of her own because F, I am realizing there are more issues here than just the girlfriend doesn't like kids. Thank you for those of you who are nice to me. The end.
My boyfriend's family trashed our home. I'm not letting them come back.
Don't.
A little backstory. I, 21 female, and my boyfriend, 21 male, moved in together about 8 months ago. We live in a cozy one-bedroom suite that is the perfect size for the two of us. We've had friends and some family that have stayed with us for a few nights. We've never had any issues. They're all respectful of our space and understand that since I work in healthcare, I like to keep house free of bacteria and germs. Everyone always makes sure to clean up after themselves. By the way, this comes from Affectionate Son 7831 on the charlottedobreyoutube subreddit. So if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. We've always enjoyed having guests and hosting people for dinners. We have never had any issues with ever having house guests until his family came to town for Easter weekend. My boyfriend and I spent all week preparing for his family to come, making sure the house was stocked up on food and that the house was organized so that it wouldn't be too squishy for everybody, as there was going to be 5 of us, which is more than we've ever had staying at the house at one time. His family was supposed to come in Thursday after my boyfriend and I were done with school, and we were up fairly early. I leave at 7 a.m. for work, and my boyfriend has classes at 8 a.m. for school. And then we got a very shocking call when they decided they were going to come a day early and let us know at 5 p.m. that they were on their way. They didn't end up getting in until 2 a.m., which left me extremely tired for work and my boyfriend very tired for school. We didn't mind though, as we were looking forward to having company, and we don't see his family very often as they live in a completely different province. We're in Canada, y'all. 8 hours away. Before I was heading home from work, I got a call from my boyfriend who sounded a little worried. He then informed me that his brother was sick, which we were not made aware of prior to them coming, and his brother had been throwing up the whole morning we were gone. Due to me working in healthcare, I tend to be around people who are very susceptible to sickness, so I had to be very cautious and make sure I wasn't sick before going back to work the following week. We know crap happens, people get sick, so we don't worry about it too much. If I got sick, and we didn't need to worry. It was whatever if it happened. When I got home, my boyfriend and I took his brother up to one of the parks to go play with a frisbee and get some fresh air. While we were at the park, his mom and her boyfriend went to the grocery store, and when they were all done, we all headed back to the house. When we got there, a comment was made that pissed me off quite a bit. when my boyfriend's mom and her boyfriend started bringing everything in the house and started putting it away. His mom's boyfriend made a comment to me about how we didn't have food in the house for them to make breakfast, and there wasn't much that we had, so they went to the grocery store to pick some stuff up for them to be able to eat. This comment made me quite upset. When I found out they were coming, I had taken bacon out of the freezer. We had eggs in the fridge, cereal in the cupboard, along with pancake mix. And most of all, the day prior, I had spent hours making homemade bagels for everyone to enjoy. It was my grandmother's recipe. The bagels were not at all touched the entire weekend. I ended up having to throw them out as they had gone bad. This made me very angry as I did all this work and it was ignored completely. My boyfriend and I eat fairly healthy, so we don't keep much junk food in the house, which is when I realized that the majority of things his family had bought: chips, chocolate, pizza buns, and lots of soda pop. Everybody has different eating habits, so I didn't mind and just brushed it off, and maybe they didn't like some of the things I had in the house. When Saturday came along, we'd been planning the day prior to leave at 12 o'clock to go to my family's Easter dinner. My family lives about an hour away from where we live, and I have been looking forward all week to go spend Easter with them. My family has many Easter traditions that we keep, one in particular which is very important to us. It's a tradition that started by my grumps, who passed away just before Easter 2022. The morning we're supposed to leave, my boyfriend and I woke up getting ready in our room when he went out to the living room to find that his whole family was still asleep at 11:30. He had gotten them up, but we didn't end up actually getting to leave until 1:30. Made me quite upset, as I was worried I was going to miss out on my family tradition that my boyfriend knows is extremely important to me. My family did hold off, and they waited till we got there. So I sat in the bedroom and read my book for a little bit before we left. When it was time to go, his entire family would not look at me and would not speak to me or listen to me when I talked. And this was made very clear when my boyfriend was on the phone giving directions on where to go. Every time I talked to clarify anything with my boyfriend, his mom said, "She needs to stop talking. I can't hear anything." Not realizing the phone was on speaker and I could hear everything. This made me very upset and caused me to cry halfway on the trip to my parents' house. I even called my mom to talk to her because I felt as if I had done something wrong and needed another opinion. "You didn't do anything wrong, OP." Which she assured me I did not do anything wrong, as I was just enjoying peace and quiet, reading my book, waiting for everyone to get ready. The door had been opened to the bedroom, and anyone who looked in could see that's all I was doing, which, having her tell me that, made me feel much better. When we got to my parents' house, the dinner went very well and everyone was happy. My boyfriend had talked to his mom and let her know that they had upset me on the way there, that I felt as if they were ignoring me and mad at me. After the dinner with my family, my boyfriend and I had gone to the store to get some adult beverages, as it had been a long week, and his family was leaving the next day. We all sat down with a drink and watched a movie together. Midway through the movie, I'd realized my boyfriend's mom had spilled some of her drink on the floor, which she cleaned up. A few moments later, her boyfriend had spilled adult soda down the side of a couch and on our carpet. Ooh. No! Which I had just cleaned prior to them coming to visit. I brushed it off as my boyfriend cleaned it up the next day. Okay. Everything ran fairly smoothly the last day they were here. We enjoyed the day and had lots of fun. When they left Monday, my boyfriend and I decided to clean up the house and go have showers, as we hadn't gotten a shower since Friday due to there being no hot water because his family showered every morning, draining the hot water tank. When I went to have a shower, I noticed some things were off. I got out of the shower, wrapped up in a towel, and called for my boyfriend. He'd come in. That's when we learned multiple of our shower products were being used without our knowledge. 3 bottles of shampoo and body wash were completely empty. They were half full before they came to visit. A brand new hair mask I had bought was open and half empty, and my expensive shampoo and conditioner that I tucked away prior to them getting there had been taken out of the cabinet, and the bottles were half empty. When we did the math on how much stuff of ours had been used from our shower, it came out to over $100 of our bathroom stuff being used without our knowledge. I was very upset and very angry, as many of my skincare products had also been used, and one had been spilled, which was also extremely expensive. I'm normally not one to be materialistic, but I was quite upset because after cleaning the house, we had learned many things were spilled all over our blankets. His little brother had snot all over pillows, blankets, our couch, and all the furniture. Ugh. And there was something spilled all down the side of our white couch. I had already been very upset, and this was just the cherry on top of the cake. So, am I the a-hole if I never let my boyfriend's family come stay with us again? And yes, my boyfriend knows I'm posting this, and he is also at a loss for what to do and if we should ever invite them back again due to many things being broken, used, or wrecked. So we got an update, John. Got an update on this situation.
Baby boy.
But let me know what is within your head of what you think OP should do in terms of inviting this family back.
So the family's gone now.
Family's gone now.
Right? Thank God. I think we do not invite the family back. And I think just going back to our classic old rule, who's going to be the person that delivers the news? The partner, because that's his family.
My boyfriend and I have talked with his family since this all has happened. We had a nice long conversation, and there were lots of apologies about the bathroom items being used, and we were reimbursed for the products used. We have since set boundaries and let them know the next time they want to visit, we'll either be going there, or if they want to come back to us, they can stay in a hotel or Airbnb, which they agreed with, so everyone can have more space. We have come to a good understanding, and many apologies have been said.
Hey.
By the way, I never want to apologize for saying that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, and I'm just going to go right into it. My boyfriend had a conversation regarding the things said to me while they were visiting, as I am bad with confronting things like this. An apology was sent to me regarding it all. My boyfriend has been amazing through this all and has been apologizing to me for what has happened. He has made it up to me in many ways, making my favorite dinner, giving me chocolates and flowers. Thank you all for reading my amazing story and for all the amazing suggestions and support. XOXO.